Orion na stare granta hiúis na hawan, agus ní léon éaló ó láthaireacht an chaisleáin I Lismore. Thóg Prince John I dús an darach diog sa a dána sé chun na crónach. Tugah híos cheiricéad bliana den aglis an sanna agus is an seo a bhí cónaí asbuig Youghal Lismore. Tháinig Sir Walter Raleigh chun seanamh an sin. Ach nuair a bhí an saoil dul díon siúd is téad agus a dó, díl sé an caisleán le Richard Boyle, céad íorla chorcaí. Dan Lismore is shelf Winter Boyle isteach sa ceathrú glúin. Fós Charlotte Boyle an Tean Van Eyre Fáca isteach a daile Cavendish isteach díag 28. Dinmh an cheathrú Duke Devonshire de siúd. Ach bé an séú Duke nó an Duke Bachelére mar a bear aithne a chóraigh an caisleán atá ann inmh.
He came across here in 1814 to see the Irish estates, and he fell in love with the place, and he decided to build up a castle of his own vision, you know, with these grand turrets and towers and crenellations and that. And he set about work that year, and he continued the work right up until the year that he died, 1858. And as a matter of fact, work just stopped when he died here. And there's one or two towers that were never completed. It's his vision, you know, of what a castle should be, a romantic style castle, you know, with the towers and turrets. Of course, he also worked right through the years of the famine. And when the famine occurred in Ireland, you know, he was a very, very sympathetic man, and he sent thousands of pounds worth of aid over to this locality. As a matter of fact, you know, he immediately cut the rents on the estate. And then I suppose maybe 70 years after that, we had civil war in Ireland, of course. And the IRA came and had their stay here in the castle, and they occupied the castle for a period of about 3 months back then. And there's still evidence in the castle of their visit. There's a section right over on the east wall where the men were firing a machine gun out the window, and the spent cartridges hitting the wall caused little indentations. And when they left the castle, the family decided to frame off a little section of that, just as a reminder of those times, you know. But the most significant thing is that when they left the castle, it wasn't destroyed, you know. It was left standing. And, you know, a couple of years after, the family were back living here again. And so it's a testament, really, I would say, to the 6th Duke, you know, and how considerate he was to the people of this area.
Is áis torasóireachta don régiúne Caisleán Lismore faoi láthair. Ach cad é go díreach feidhmeann Caisleáin anois? Óstán galanta?
You couldn't class Lismore Castle as a hotel, really, because it is, in fact, a home. You know, it's the Duke of Devonshire's home in Ireland. The house is open now for let to people from all over the world, and we get clients who come from the United States and stay here and pay for the privilege of enjoying this wonderful home. And they don't mind doing that because, you know, quite a few of them come back year after year after year. But it is a business as well, and people don't come back here unless they actually get their money's worth, and we believe they do. We give them a great experience here. And this year has been one of our busiest years in the past 10 years.
Inis, a tarach chomóra an géad, tá tugra gnó atá préfas in níos seo á orbrit ag an Duke Ratha agus a wach William Cavendish, an tír na Burlington, le cinú go méid an tastát an seasa ver a gá chuis féin.
Quite an amount of people are employed here. So I suppose in total, just over 50 people, you know, which is a considerable amount of people to employ.
Siúd séire náin I gcónaí go ceapach cuin. Casan sí nóca céim ó as, Cornach bhfuil míú sásúil ag géolalathe ná ag tíreolalathe ach an iridéir. Seans gur chamáin an bunchúrsa sidir raig chuna farige fadó ag dún garabán. Ach thug idir sían idú agus éalclach, deist an áhain acre chuna farige a aimsú. Tá an áhain tídach ón buinte se hamach rud a déascaigh an bealachta onrothirí trá, agus trádálathe an son in úscaidí na caigadaí. Tá an tírenród agus an trádáile réan hiúl ach tá fear amháin a chuhíonn fós na turasóirí an stráice seo.
I pick people up in Youghal and bring them up as far as Cappoquin, which is about 18 miles upriver. Quite obviously, the place is sort of history side from side of the river. And if people are interested in the history, I give a bit of the history, and if not, I try and keep a zip in it, if you get my drift.
Siahiad na macharí méthe, dúthaigh na dihimúra. Gáthebh na hawn, tá macalaí beo na staire.
First big house is Jemieson's house there. And it's a real kind of microcosm of our history, and in particular our kind of relationship with our nearest island. Across the river then diagonally you have Dromana house, which would have been the home of the Villiers Stewarts, and is still lived in by Emily and her family.
Well, it's been here a long time. There's a great aunt of James, my late husband's, said the family must always live on the rock, even if it has to be in a tent. So we're still here, and we're not quite in the tent yet. But you never know when.
Yes, we go back to 1200. King John was our beginnings. And so not only the property, but also the river, the bed of the river belongs, not all of it, half of it is Lismore estates and the Duke of Devonshire, and the other half is Dromana. And we still have salmon rights to this day, salmon fishing on the river.
Teach Dromana tóga láthir stratéiseach fariamach ó chrág gos ciún casas an áhain. Níl mór an tailech eile le ginealach có fada son siar sa Steireacha. Siad Emily Villiers Stewart agus a hinny and Barbara Grubb na Shalavory Raha.
The territory of the Deashees was granted to the Desmonds, who were the Fitzgeralds, we were Fitzgeralds originally, in 1199. And the same family has been here all the time, but the family name for the Desmonds was Fitzgerald, we were Fitzgeralds, and then we had a daughter only, and she married a Villiers. And so the name became Villiers. And then a couple of generations later on, there was another marriage, and a daughter only in the family married a Stewart, and so now we're Villiers Stewart. There have been very strong women in the family. One, the old Countess of Desmond, was born here. She supposedly lived to be 140 years old, and she died falling out of a cherry tree.
Bhí trucabíle acra ina stát Dromana trá, nílach trucafacanis Gardini a bharmhór. Táid son I gcomharsanach don tí oscailt don bubble. Dairigh an teach féin le hamach daimsre. Túrthach normánach a bhí ann dús, mí compordach ach inchosanta. Leagah teach seacabíte go nús sin I seachtaí céad. Ach tasíomh hac seoirseach mai má gá núr lár I seachtaí gachta. Cuireadh leis san néochéadíag le stairí muirge agus báil seomra circalach creachta os ciúna hawan híos faoi. Ach bhí seall na nastá tuca, agus lai costas ag imead go trám an lánúí nóg. Díal na Villiers Stewart amach dá núncils na caigadaí, agus scartálag an teach seoirseach ina néamais. Ach, fi blian eraig, Corella. Dairig le Emily agus James a helef dail an tacharish gan an ishach truca acra leis.
And then I came back with my husband to join my mother. We live here together very, very happily, and Mum is terrific at taking people around the house and giving, historical tours, which we do on a regular basis. We're open basically all summer, every afternoon.
And Barbara does all the proper work about it. I only do the chit-chat.
But there's a garden of 30 acres, which we have no gardeners. We do it all ourselves. And I always say to people, most people like me would be given a bottle of perfume for Christmas. I get a chainsaw. And quite good with the chainsaw, actually.
Marian leis an stair ní anan an áhain